Somalia, one of the countries in the Horn of Africa. For a long time, Somalia has been a troubled country, both politically and security-wise, starting with the collapse of its state in the 1991 to the emergence of Al-Shabaab in its soils in the early 2004. For all these decades, Somalia has been wobbling in between political instability and the fight against Al-Shabaab. Additionally, the country has registered checked relations with its neighbors, majority who are part of the East Africa community. For the third time, Somalia is reapplying to be part of the East Africa community, a move that has been somehow warmly received. The question is, what is the future of Somalia in the East Africa community? What does Somalia bring on the table in the East Africa community? And what will Somalia gain from the East Africa community? And if Somalia is accepted as the 8th member of the East Africa community, what will be the relations between Somalia and its neighbors? For example, Kenya, who they have taken each other to the International Court of Justice over maritime boundary disputes. Stay tuned and let's have these discussions raw and real. Remember to subscribe.
Hello, I'm Sirengo and I'm an artist. I'm here to present to you a project called the Tupendane Tutengane Initiative, which is an art project that seeks to bring all Kenyans together, especially during this election period, where we're going to traverse the country with 2 art pieces which are going to be painted by Kenyans so that they can be able to demonstrate their love for the country, show unity and commitment to peace during this entire period of elections.
Welcome back. Earlier this month, Somalia resubmitted its application to be part of the East Africa community, an application that, unlike previous applications, received somehow warm reception from the heads of the states of the EAC member states. Now, perhaps to understand Somalia's quest to join the East Africa community, we need to go back to history. The current president of Somalia, Hassan Mohamud, won his elections in May 2002. But this is not the first time that he is becoming the president of Somalia. Between 2012 to 2017, he was a president of Somalia. And during his first time, he really made an application to EAC to do what? For Somalia to be part of the community. However, the bloc refused the application, citing issues to do with Somalia being a weak state and the threat of Al-Shabaab in terms of insecurity in the region. There was an aspect to do with sporadic conflicts within Somalia also. But in 2016, we saw the troubled South Sudan being admitted into the EAC. And therefore, with that, Mogadishu also had an hope that if the troubled South Sudan has been accepted into the EAC, then the same could happen to them. In 2019, the former president of Somalia, President Farmajo, reapplied to join the EAC alongside the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, the bloc accepted Kinshasa into the East Africa community and delayed the decision on Somalia, citing that Somalia was not ready. And now one could wonder, is Somalia ready now for admission into EAC? And one could wonder, if accepted into EAC, then will it change the status quo in terms of the relations between Somalia and its neighboring communities? Will it change the political situation and the security situation in Somalia? And we need to understand that President Hassan Mohamud is barely 3 months into office, but is really trying to amend a lot of relations with the Nepali communities. Barely 3 months into office, he has renewed his application for actually Somalia to join the EAC. But the bloc also has its own requirements for a member state, for a state to join the EAC as a member. And many times they cite the 1999 treaty that led to the establishment of the current EAC. And within this treaty are conditions that Somalia must meet to become a member. All any other state that wishes to be a member of EAC must meet to become a member. And this include compliance with good governance, democracy, rule of law, and respect for human rights. And one could say that all the countries in East Africa community actually in one way or another have preached these conditions: democracy, the rule of law, good governance, respect for human rights. These are the issues that we see daily being raised in countries within the EAC. But remember, the treaty says that any state that wishes to be a member in EAC must meet this. And these are some of the conditions that actually barred Somalia from being admitted into EAC for a long time. So, is Somali ready? If actually Somalia is going to be admitted into the EAC, the admission may not take place immediately. The membership may not mature immediately, because even Kinshasa's formal membership just happened the other day, despite being accepted sometimes back long ago. So, if EAC accepts Somalia as a member state, there is a great economic advantage. Remember, Somalia has one of the longest coastlines in the Horn of Africa. And that implies if it becomes a member in EAC, then there will be more added access to the sea by the EAC member states. Remember, member states in EAC have the free movement of goods and service protocol, and that will imply expanded trade both on land and on sea, because look at Somalia's coastline. So Somalia is not coming as an economic liability per se. Countries like Kenya know how Somalia is important in terms of Miraha business, So when Somalia is brought into the East Africa community, it is coming with a hot cake in terms of access to the sea. On the other side, Somalia is going to gain from the EAC in terms of free movement of goods and services within the bloc. You need to understand that for a long time, in many EAC countries, Somali nationals must get a visa, all those things for them to move around, for them even to access some places. There's a very lengthy registration process and a very lengthy protocol, sometimes that makes it difficult for the Somalis, or people from Somalia actually, to navigate the East Africa countries with ease. But if Somalia is accepted into EAC, then this will become a thing of the history. But again, we have one problem here: Al-Shabaab. Somalia's security problem, including Al-Shabaab, implies then it will be the bloc's common problem. So being a bloc's common problem, it raises a lot of questions. One, with regard to, is the bloc going to combine efforts in terms of fighting Al-Shabaab, or is Al-Shabaab now going to start hitting some countries that it has never maybe hit before, because now these countries will be more of, cooperating with other enemies. Like, will we have Al-Shabaab, for example, in Uganda? Will we start seeing attacks in Rwanda, DRC from Al-Shabaab, etc.? Or will we see Al-Shabaab shrinking because of combined efforts from these member states in terms of fighting it? So you see, it is a question that it's two-way round. It could be the beginning towards shrinking Al-Shabaab, or it could be a beginning towards extended enemies of Al-Shabaab. And then one could wonder, what will this inclusion into EAC actually do in terms of the diplomatic ties between Mogadishu and its neighboring countries? Barely 4 months into office, President Hassan Mohamud has visited Tanzania, Kenya, Djibouti, and Eritrea. And remember, Somalia and some countries like Kenya, honestly, have a huge conflict. There is the Kenya-Somalia Maltine border dispute. When this case was taken to ICJ, the International Court of Justice, actually, it is President Mohamud who was the president of Somalia at that particular time. It was in 2014, and he was the president. So meaning he was part of the team, although he is the person who took Kenya to the ICJ over the Maltine border dispute. And we also how the outcome of the case came out. An outcome that actually Somalia accepted, but Kenya said it does not honor that particular outcome. And this has left the two countries in a dilemma, because President Kenyatta said not even an inch, small or big, he will fight for Kenya's soils and nobody will move that boundary. And Somalia also, under the former president Farmajo, had their stand concerning the same. But now we see President Hassan Mohamud now visiting Kenya 3 months barely into office. And, we have this dilemma now. What happens with the disputed land in the coastal part of Kenya, But this could be the beginning of bettering relations with Kenya. And I want to tell you why. The two heads of states have agreed to solve their problem on a cooperative joint commission, So that means even this state of dilemma, in as much as the case that was completed by the International Court of Justice the other day, then they are going to offer solution. They are going to agree on how to navigate the waters and how they are going to exploit the resources from that particular disputed point. Secondly, when he visited Kenya, we saw Kenya now restarting again its miraa export to Mogadishu. Remember, the business had come to a standstill. The miraa business from Kenya to Somalia was blocked in the previous regime. At the same time, we saw the Kenya Airways flights now resuming to Mogadishu after being stopped in the previous regime. So it gives an hope that now then there will be some better relations, better diplomatic ties between Kenya and Somalia, and maybe Somalia with other countries in the Horn of Africa. And President Mohamud is also set to visit Ethiopia, Uganda, Burundi, and Djibouti. And remember that these countries that President Mohamud is visiting are very, very important in terms of security in Somalia. Remember, for a long time we have had AMISOM, the African Union Mission in Somalia, that was responsible for peacekeeping in the country. But now what we have right now is the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia. And these countries, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Djibouti, Ethiopia, are among the countries that have sent their troops for this particular mission, because there's a transition that is supposed to leave kind of Somalia independent after AMISOM has been there for a long time. Now, as we give Somalia an opportunity to stand on their own politically, there's a transitional peacekeepers to ensure that actually there's security as the government takes over its mandates and control over its activities fully. So this president, barely 3 months into office, is visiting all these countries with the aim of amending ties and ensuring that actually what was lost can be somehow claimed in terms of diplomatic ties. And it is important to know that Somalia has had a lot of checked relations with other countries. I've already spoken about Kenya, where Somalia feels that Kenya is interfering in its activities, in its soils, etc. When Djibouti offered to solve the Kenya-Somalia issue, then President Farmajo accused Djibouti of abandoning its quota, and then Somalia seemed not to have so much issues with Ethiopia. But again, Mogadishu expressed its mistrust for the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. They have suspicion issues. At the same time, Eritrea offered to train Somalia's troops, but this was without Mogadishu or Somalia's parliamentary approval. And 3 years down the line, the nature of the training is very unclear, and even where it is being carried out. So Somalia also has trust issues with Eritrea. Even when President Hassan Mohammed visited Eritrea the other day, the question on these troops remained unanswered. And therefore, we could wonder whether these feasts are likely to yield more positive results, and whether President Hassan Mohammed's regime is going to place Somalia in a better place. But more importantly, what do you think? Should we have Somalia in the East Africa community? Comment down below. And what do you think, apart from the large coastline, what do you think Somalia has to bring on the table? And what do you see Somalia gaining from the EAC? Comment down below and let's keep the discussion going together. East Africa community, the Horn of Africa, it is the call for peace, love, and brotherhood.
So how are we going to do this Tupendane Tutengane initiative? We shall be traversing the country from Busia all the way to Mombasa, and through this period we shall have Kenyans sign on the canvas and also paint on the canvas the various flags of our different counties promoting unity and love among Kenyans. So not only will this project help in bringing Kenyans together through love and unity, it will also be an opportunity for us to fundraise for students from low-income families in order to empower them through education. Because irrespective of our social, economic status, we are all Kenyans. Thank you.